There's multiple differences between both professions, but for me, there's been a rise from being a stunt performer. Then the next step was I was a fight coordinator and fight choreographer for years. Then I became a stunt coordinator, and then I moved on to both being a stunt coordinator and a second unit director. When you're hired as a fight coordinator, you're specifically there to just focus on the action and the tone within the fights. And then when you're a stunt coordinator, your job is to kind of oversee that all, including the stunts, the fights, make sure the fight choreographer is working with you and the director. And then when you move on to second unit directing, it's then how to visualize that scene on camera. It's encompassing all of those things into then directing, especially if you're an action director. So you're understanding what it takes to achieve it, and then you're looking at it from a different point of view on how to film it. Martial arts is a background I came up in. My father was a boxer and he was going to go pro. But because he did boxing, I went into martial arts. And for years, that was the base of my athletic movement and background. But as far as relating Kung Fu to stunts or martial arts to stunts, I think most stunt performers come into this business with a specialty of something they've had prior to getting to stunts. And then when you get into stunts, you become more well-rounded over the years, learning multiple things. For me, I had a background in martial arts and fighting in multiple things. Kung Fu was my main base. I trained in boxing, fencing, Kali, and multiple other things throughout the years too. I think that any job of any fight choreographer or fight coordinator is, number one is, with the script, there's a story within a script, and you have to understand the characters. So there's multiple meetings that are had between, yourself, the stunt coordinator, and the director, talking about the tone and the look of the sequence. And then you're understanding who the characters are within that sequence. And then after you've had all those discussions, my process has been, I'll go with my fight team or the stunt doubles, and I'll choreograph something, and then we'll do what we call a stunt viz. We'll shoot the scene the way we would shoot it on the day, so the director and the stunt coordinator can look at it and give us feedback on what to adjust or what to keep, or whether we keep moving that same direction. And normally we'll do multiple passes like this until we can understand what the scene is going to look like. A lot of the wire work that we use, particularly on Jupiter's Legacy, was done by Jason Domenico, who is a stunt rigging coordinator and a stunt coordinator as well from Action Factory. He's one of the best riggers and safest riggers in the business that I've worked with for many years. We did a lot of flying, we did a lot of tuning fork, we did a lot of winches, which is computerized systems. Wire works and wire gags are becoming a very normal part of any action design sequence, and most films have a budget nowadays. It all depends on your script. If you take something like Jupiter's Legacy, you're going to do a lot of flying, right? If you take something like, I'll say Deadpool, his strength might hit someone, a normal human, and they might go flying back more than a human could hit someone. So it's just enhancing the vision of the characters in the story. If I take someone like Daredevil, he's normally acrobatic and he does it a lot. So sometimes we might give him a little assist to make him look just a little bit more than human, or like he's trained for many years. So there's different ways of using wire work. It can sometimes be a small assist. It can be a big story indicator. But it all depends on how it's relative to your story and how we're going to use wires. And that's the key thing, is making it relative to your story and almost like it's not even there. Ultimately, a car stunt or a car sequence, like a fight scene, has to tell a story, right? There's your antagonist and your protagonist, and it's making sure that you're understanding what the purpose of that scene is, and then you bring in the right people. I second unit directed that scene, and Mike Massa was my stunt coordinator for that sequence. We had some of the best drivers from all over the world on that one. It's equally as time consuming as setting up ratchets with a human. You do multiple tests, multiple meetings. We go out to location, we test the freeway, we make sure that our vehicles can do what we do. We're having conversations with picture vehicles over and over again, making sure that our vehicles are safe enough to do certain gags for our drivers. It's a lot of tedious setup, but that's par for the course on any sequence you do, on anything. That sequence, I think, took about 2.5 weeks to shoot in Murcia, Spain. And again, like, we've had literally some of the best drivers from all over the world working on that particular sequence. And it was fun to watch them in their element. I was in the camera car following. I was not in one of the cars. I was directing the sequence. I did not have a chance to make a cameo in that one, but I was very close in the Russian arm behind them most of the time, which is our camera vehicle, our pursuit vehicle. There was a lot of really good practical stunts. Some things made it into the edit, and some things didn't, like any other story you work on or any other film. All vehicles will be prepped and tested. Some will get roll cages, some will be remote drive vehicles, and then it's the drivers will feel the vehicles, will make adjustments to the brakes, will make adjustments to the steering. There's always things that will always be done by our stunt team in preparation, like any other sequence, like anything else you do in stunts or in film. Everything has to do with the preparation of those sequences. I love to tell a story that makes the audience feel something and makes it relatable to them when we design a sequence. It could be something as simple as where we put the camera, where we see a crash that makes the audience go, ooh, they felt that. Where the camera is placed for a punch that it's relatable to the audience. Where you can sit back and watch a wide and be impressed with an actor who can do the long 50-take beat, like Keanu Reeves in the John Wick series. And then sometimes there's just those moments where you're getting close on an actor and you feel the emotion that he's going through in that physical altercation with someone. It's relative, and my methodology has always been to find what makes it relatable and unique to these characters in the story. And that just comes from storytelling and understanding action and how you want to highlight that piece so the audience goes, ooh, or oh, or wow. Those are the things you're looking for in a sequence. And, to be honest, there are a lot of stunt coordinators and second unit directors who have learned how to tell those stories great over the years. Like, you look at Chad Stahelski, Sam Hargrave, Damon Caro, Brad Allen. There are so many, Jeff Habersad, who all have gone either from stunt coordinating to second unit directing to directing first unit. And they figured out how to make it relatable for the audience, so they're pulled into that experience with them. And that's the key. It's pulling your audience into any sequence, whether it's dialogue or action. I have to also mention J.J. Perry, who is a phenomenal leader and action director as well. I have worked with Tim Miller we had worked together for almost 12 years. I started working with Tim Miller back at Blur Studios, which is his studio. And I started working with him and David Wilson, who was a Bloodshot director, doing these motion capture cinematics. And we had spent years developing a shorthand together. We had done everything from Star Wars cinematics to the Batman cinematics to the first Deadpool test that we did 5 years prior to it being leaked and getting the film greenlit. Over the years, I have developed a shorthand with Tim Miller, and he and I have had a very quick understanding of each other. And I did my best to support him on that film, like I did on Deadpool or any other project we've worked together in the past. So yes, it was similar in working with him again, but on a much bigger scope this time around. As a second unit director for myself, most of the things that I have done have always been action orientated. When I come in, it's because I have a particular way of telling action, whether it's how we want to film the scene, whether we're doing a one shot, it's the emotion we want to get out of the action sequence. As a second unit director for myself, mostly I come in to direct action and to bring those actors into the action, and when the actors are done on first unit, I then take them to second unit. I'll shoot out the pieces that they're missing, and then I'll shoot the rest with their stunt doubles, all the more riskier scenes that aren't meant for the actors to do. For me, yes, that is eventually where I will be going. Right now, I still love stunt coordinating and second unit directing. But yes, one day I will move forward into directing as well. That is the plan right now. I'm absolutely looking forward to that. It's fun to keep learning along the process. I've gotten to work with some great directors and good people and good friends like Steve the Knight, Tim Miller, Patrick Hughes is brilliant. Watching him, it's great learning from these different people and helping develop my own style for myself. And then watching other stunt coordinators / second unit directors, it's been great to watch their evolution over the years and know that my frame of thinking isn't far off from theirs, similar but different at the same time. So yes, that is the intention, is to move into directing. I love every aspect about being creative in this job. I work with some great people from Action Factory. I've worked with great fight coordinators such as Micah Carnes. I love working with passionate individuals. Most of the time on the projects I'm on, or pretty much all the time, the people I'm around are very driven and passionate to do something creative and different. And we're just unique, not intentionally trying to be different, just unique to their story. And that's just a fun process to support and be part of. There isn't one day that I don't wake up doing it going, yeah, this is going to be fun. Do we have long days on every show? Yes. Are we up for weeks on end? No one said making a movie was easy, but is it fun and rewarding? Yeah. No matter what the outcome is, I think the journey has always been about being creative with passionate people. And that's the best part. That's one of the things I love the most about this industry. Every sequence has its challenges. There's never been there's not one particular sequence that I can say was the hardest or was the easiest. I think everything is unique to its challenges. But if I needed to go to one where it was like it was challenging because we were seeking to get the most perfect moment we could, I would go to the Daredevil one shot. If you look at him up to that whole point, he was beaten down, broken, and bruised. So he wasn't coming into it super energetic out of the gate, but he had a will to protect the child. And that was the main thing we wanted to tell that story, that no matter what, like, you couldn't put these guys down with one punch. There's no way that was going to happen. But we try to play that within the choreography the whole time and the performance. And I think it was written that way, and then it physically became that way as the day went on. We did probably 12 takes of that one, and on take 2, they had a version of it where the one shot worked. And they're like, oh, that's good, we got through it. And I looked at them and I was like, no, we could do better. Even though we got through it, I knew we can do better. And 12 hours later, we got the final shot. But yeah, that was a true one shot, and as exhausting as it was for the stunt doubles, Chris Brewster was Charlie Cox's double, and our stunt performers from all of the New York stunt community that worked on that particular one shot, our DP Matt Lloyd, our director Phil Abraham. Like it was just one of those things where we had to keep pushing for it. There was no chance that this couldn't be an authentic one shot and set the tone for the world. And 12 hours later on the 12th take, when everyone was exhausted, I think it played great into how the shot came out. But it was a roller coaster ride of emotions for everyone that day, and exhausting physically, but very rewarding at the end. There are a few potential projects coming up right now, and that's all I could say until that. Although I am very much looking forward to Man from Toronto, which comes out in January of next year. A great stunt team, great characters, great actors, and a really good director who is leading the team. So I'm very excited to see that one.